Alrighty, everyone, welcome back. Episode 11, Mafia Members podcast for the Bills Mafia by the Bills Mafia. Okay, so today, first of all, sorry, it's been a couple days since I got an episode out, at least for Spotify listeners. So we'll kind of address that. We'll talk about some of the stuff that has been keeping me busy recently. We'll get into a new kind of thing that I'm trying to get going. I'm calling it the 2024 season series. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. We got some fan questions to get into today. We got a wild report that came out today. So happy that we picked today to record. And yeah. Oh, also huge milestone. I set the goal of getting 1,200 followers on X before the season started. We already passed it. So thank you so much to everybody who's been following along, and giving me some content, and giving me some things to talk about. Appreciate, love every single one of you guys. It's been an absolute blast. Like I said, I'm just a guy up here in Canada trying to record my thoughts on the Bills, and the fact that some people are following along. I think it blows my mind every day. So, with that being said, thank you very much, and we will get into it now.
The Mafia Members Podcast.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Alrighty, guys. So as always, shout out Joneson for Sports for the intro music there. At JNFORSPORTS at Jones for Sports. He's an absolute legend. He's been one of our biggest supporters. Gave us that music, so that was awesome. So we always be sure to shout out the real ones. And this episode we definitely will, because we got some fan questions to get into. But first, I just want to address the. It wasn't even like it was. I think it was 4 days where I didn't do any. I didn't do any Twitter. Didn't do really any social media. Didn't do any recording. Didn't do any nothing. No TikToks. No nothing. I think I think it was kind of an important couple days for me. Just to kind of, you know, take a rest, relax, hung out with family, which was awesome. Went on a road trip down to Watertown, in New York State. My nephew had a birthday, so went out to went to celebrate that at my parents' place. I mean, they don't live in Watertown. That was one day. The other day was the birthday party. So yeah, so I think it's I think it's just important. Every once in a while, you gotta kind of take a breather. I didn't really look at my phone much, and just kind of took some time. Kind of before that happened, we found out that we're we're having a girl. So the newest member of the Bills Mafia is coming to you November 30th, or supposed to be November 30th. We know how those dates normally go. So should be November 30th. Newest member of the Bills Mafia coming to you. So we were ecstatic about that, and I think that's kind of what led to it. We kind of just wanted to take some time. So yeah, so it was fun. I think I think it's important. I think lots of times people overlook those kinds of things. So was definitely much needed. Definitely enjoyed it. But we're back. We're back and doing our thing. One of the other reasons why there hasn't been so much on Spotify, in particular, is because I was doing lots of live videos. So like I said, I was on 2 podcasts. I hosted for the first time. I hosted talking football, and then last week again. So I went Sunday recording with talking football, and then Wednesday I recorded a live with Hot Take City, which was a blast. I had an awesome time with both of them, but that content is not really out on Spotify. It was just a live thing that I did on X and YouTube. Another reason to follow me on X and to subscribe to my show on YouTube. I kind of will be doing those kinds of things. So lots of times there might not be something specifically for Spotify. I'll try my best to get at least the audio recordings of it to post to Spotify. But I thought I was after doing the Sunday and Wednesday, it was kind of a lot, and there's lots of prep work that goes into that. There's lots of time spent doing them and getting them out there and all that kind of stuff. So had a blast doing them. Will continue to do them, but like I said, every once in a while you just got to take a quick little pause. So that's one of the things that I've been up to, was doing the live events, which are an absolute blast. I have so much fun doing them, and so that's where the season series idea came from. So essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the Wednesday before the weekend games. So I don't know if the Bills will play Thursday, Sunday, or Monday, but the Wednesday before that weekend of games, I'm going to try and get someone from every fan base that the Bills are about to play, and host a live podcast with them, so we can kind of go back and forth with what we expect from each other's teams. I think it'll be at least for the few that I've spoken to about it so far. It's nice to get to learn a little bit about the other teams, because there's only so much of your attention that you can actually focus on teams other, like the Bills take up most of my focus, and then then you get the Bills' rivals and other teams in the AFC East, and then Kansas City, and what's Baltimore, and what's everyone else up to in the AFC, and then you have kind of some of the bigger national stories, like what's going on with Jordan Love in Green Bay, what's going on with Dak in Dallas. Not that there's anything going on, but that's just what the national story is like lots of coverage on Jordan Love, and kind of the expectations that Green Bay has this year, and all those kinds of things. So for week 1, I have week 1 lined up. So the Wednesday before the first game of the season, I'll be doing a live with someone who covers the Arizona Cardinals. So that's kind of one of the things, would be a team that I would say I didn't really know too much about. I don't know like you know about them, but like kind of you don't know the details of the team, like what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what happened, kind of some of the smaller moves that they've made, what are their own expectations for their team this year, and so I think it's going to be pretty cool to get into that with 17 other fans, and obviously for the ones that for the teams that are in the AFC East, I'll try and get two different podcasts or fans or creators or whatever, whoever. So it's not so I'm not getting the same person back. So I think it'll be. I think it's going to be pretty fun. Like I said, I have week 1 lined up. I reached out to a couple people in Arizona who cover the Cardinals, and thought it was pretty cool that first of all that they even replied, that they even responded, and second, I think it's pretty cool that I got one of them to agree to come onto the show with me, and I think it'll be fun. I think it's a pretty cool idea to get going. So if you are listening, and if you are a fan of a team that the Bills are playing, or of a fan that the Bills are about to play, if you have a podcast, if you're whatever, if you want to come on the show, and talk the talk of your team with me, and kind of we'll kind of give a prediction of how we think the game's going to go, and we'll kind of there could be a little shit talk here and there, but that doesn't faze me much, and I think it's really cool. I think it's going to be lots of fun. So really those are kind of the things that have kind of gone on. But I think the main thing that we got to talk about today is the NFL executive calls Allen overrated. And let me tell you, the media storm that came from that, I don't think I've seen any, like, at least on the national, like the first take guys, Colin Cowherd, Dan Orlovsky. I don't think I've seen anybody like just flat out agree with this guy. Maybe that is what NFL executives actually think. But I highly doubt it. I think people that are in the know in the league, they also know that Allen is not overrated. And in the words of Colin Cowherd, he's probably underrated a little bit. Same with James Jones on. I think he's on. Is that First Take now with him and Shady and Emmanuel Acho? I think it's First Take, but I can't remember. Anyways, he also said if Josh Allen is overrated, then you better say that everybody is overrated, because it's one team that wouldn't take Josh Allen. That's it, and that's Kansas City, because they got Patrick Mahomes. Every other team will take Josh Allen. And don't come at me with the Bengals and Joe Burrow, because they know the Bengals would get Josh Allen because they know that they can get a guy who would play 17 games in a season for them. Okay? We're not going to live in this world where we got to pretend injuries don't exist. We got to pretend injuries don't exist and they aren't a factor, and they're not going to play a part in your decision making as a team. We can't continue doing that. Everyone always says, "Yeah, but if Burrow's healthy, with a healthy Burrow, they could do this." Burrow only played X amount. That is one of the biggest factors, if not the biggest factor, on who you're taking as a quarterback. What's the saying? The best availability, or the best ability is availability. That's Allen. That's why Allen is better than Burrow, because he's there. He shows up on Sunday. He plays. To call Allen overrated is absolutely wild. It's absolutely wild. Even if you were to even if you were to say, okay, he's not the second best, he's the third best quarterback for sure. Like, so it's impossible to I don't see how you could even say that he's overrated when there's like people are debating if he's not even some people don't even have him in their top 5 quarterbacks. Like, how is he overrated? He gets more hate than anybody else in the whole entire league, I think. Maybe not. But because I follow the team so closely, it does seem that like he does get the most amount of hate for out of any player in the league. For what? Because he throws interceptions. Does he need to clean up the interceptions? Absolutely. Is there a player in the NFL who's perfect and doesn't make any mistakes? Absolutely not. Is there a player who scored more touchdowns in the past 4 seasons than Josh Allen? Absolutely not. So, of course he's better. Of course he's better. His numbers, you can argue, are even, stats-wise, he's even better than Mahomes. That's pretty obvious. His numbers are better. Mahomes definitely has the edge and has his number. And for whatever reason, our defense and our special teams can't get the job done when we play Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. But, I mean, other than that, Josh Allen is what? A game with taking the lead with 13 seconds left. And a missed field goal away from beating Patrick Mahomes twice. And at least to get into the Super Bowl once. Probably gets into the Super Bowl a second time if we don't miss that field goal. And then what's the narrative after that? If we don't give up a field goal with 13 seconds left in the game, and if we make a field goal, he's now beaten Patrick Mahomes twice. So that's not on Josh Allen, those two things. I mean, you can make you can say, yeah, it's not the kicker's fault. And to a degree it's not. You wish, in the second quarter, maybe Allen should have made a better play or whatever. The defense should have got a stop in the third quarter, and then it never would have came down to the field goal. And I get that whole argument, and I understand that whole argument. It's the same thing I say with referees. The referee never cost someone the game because there was probably a missed call earlier that is whatever. But when you're down into that situation, that is now determining the game. So yes, it can determine the game. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, it just hasn't gone Allen's way. Is it because Mahomes is a better quarterback? Is it because Andy Reid is a better head coach? Much more likely. Is it because of the offensive schemes that the Chiefs have versus what the Bills have on offense? Most likely. Is it because the combination of the style of offense Kansas City plays and the style of defense Kansas City plays? Most likely. It's most likely not because Patrick Mahomes is just a better quarterback than Josh Allen. I forget what episode it was, but we can go back into our notes here. And see. Where are we at here? Where are we at? Because remember a couple. Yeah. Okay. He just set an NFL record for 4th straight season with 40 touchdowns. He has more touchdowns than anyone since 2020. More than anyone, more than Mahomes. 203 to 179. Second in touchdown playoffs. Second in total yards for first 10 playoff games. 11 games with a pass and a rushing touchdown. That's an NFL record. He's got more postseason touchdowns than Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, and Justin Herbert combined. You combined all of theirs, they fall 6 touchdowns short of Josh Allen. He has the lowest interception rate through first 10 playoff games with 1.1%. There's lots of stats that Josh Allen has that are first, if not second, especially when it comes to playoff time. For a quarterback's first 10 games, his record, yes, 5-5 in the playoffs, and that is 100% not great. But first of all, to say that he's overrated is wild because of that. And second, that doesn't mean that he's bad. Like, there's so many reasons that go into a team winning, and there's so many reasons that go into a team losing, that you can't just say that Allen, because he's 5-5 in the playoffs or whatever, because he throws a lot of interceptions, he has a better TD to turnover ratio than most quarterbacks in the league. I think he's even actually better than Patrick Mahomes' his touchdown to turnover ratio. Because he scores so many touchdowns. He scores so much more touchdowns than the next closest guy, that it's unreal. It's unreal. But anyways, I digress. I think this guy's, like, whoever this NFL executive is who said this, I think he knows what time it is. I'll say that, because based on some of the reactions that you've seen, I think it's kind of showing that this guy is kind of out to lunch. And finally, for once, it's been really nice to see. I mean, we always had the love from Dan Orlovsky. We always support Dan Orlovsky because of his love for Allen. But when you see some of these other guys, like James Jones, I don't think he's ever said a good thing about Allen before, ever. When you see and Josh Allen is finally getting a little bit of love, because everyone's been hating on him for the past 3 seasons, and then some guy says he's overrated, and then everyone's like, whoa. He needs to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, but he's still the second best quarterback in the league. He's not overrated. Everyone, let's just chill. Let's just relax. This is what happens when the offseason goes too long. Now, all of a sudden, okay, yeah, he could do this. He could be like this. He's overrated. Like, by the time we had too much free time on our hands to get to the point where we're saying Josh Allen is now overrated. Okay, so we're not doing that. We're not playing that game. Absolutely no way it's true. And yeah, I think that guy's an idiot. Like Dan Orlovsky said, I think that's a direct quote from Dan Orlovsky. He's an idiot. So I think it kind of woke everyone up to being like, okay, whoa, maybe there is a little bit too much hate going around, because now we're at the point where, you know how it works. Everyone's got to say the next thing. Oh, started out with, oh, he scrambles too much and he panics or whatever. And then, okay, well, turnovers. He's a turnover merchant. And then he's a this. And by the end of it, there's nothing left to say but except that he's overrated. And then everyone's like, okay, whoa. Let's tone it down a little bit here. He's not overrated. By far the second best quarterback in the league. Only one other team wouldn't trade their starting quarterback straight up for Josh Allen, and Buffalo would only say no to one. Like, Buffalo would only say yes to one team, and there's 30 teams that would say yes to Buffalo. Trade your starting quarterback 1 for 1. So with that being said, we'll take a little break, and then when I come back, we got a lot of love on Twitter today. So we got a handful of fan questions that we got to get into, and then we'll wrap up the show and be on our way. All right, everyone, we're back. So So we'll get into the Twitter questions for today, or X questions, I should say. So posted just letting everyone know that I'd be back to recording and to give me your questions. So this is some of the best that we've got. We got a few questions to get into. So first, sorry, normally I have this all written down, but kind of last minute today, so I'm just scrolling off the phone. So first one comes from Says Me. He's a great account on X. Supports all of our stuff. So he's great. He's at says SAYS_me1. He does deep dives into stats and analyzes different numbers, and comes up with pretty good, accurate rankings, and kind of can slot players in based on different formulas that he's done. So he's absolutely a great follow. Definitely recommend everyone to go follow at says_me1. And his question is, should Allen have been MVP last season? Career numbers versus Lamar says so. Last season's number tell the same story. I think as far as if it's Allen or Lamar, it definitely should have been Allen. His numbers were better, yes. But does that necessarily mean that he should have won the MVP? If it was up to me, like I said with talking football, if it were up to me, I think Christian McCaffrey probably would have gotten my vote for MVP. I'm not a fan of just giving it to a quarterback every year. If that's the case, we should just change the name from MVP to the quarterback award. So I think the MVP, I think last year was Christian McCaffrey. I think he had a crazy season. Probably second place would have been Tyreek, as much as it kills me to say. He was pretty fucking valuable to that team last year. We can't lie to ourselves. Allen definitely is. I know they in no sport do they actually give it to the person who's the most valuable player to their team, or else LeBron James would have won MVP for 20 straight seasons. So they just don't do it that way. So I don't expect them to do it that way. But if you look at it that way, then it's 100% should be Josh Allen. He accounts for the most amount of the team's offense. He accounted for 73% of the total offense last year, which is insane. Overall, my short answer is to just say no. I think it should have been Christian McCaffrey. But I think there's lots of reasons that Allen should have won it definitely over Lamar. He definitely should have won it over Lamar. Lamar had probably the worst season as an MVP, maybe. I don't know. I haven't checked from 20 years ago. Maybe they gave it to some random guy who probably didn't deserve it. But in recent memory, that's some of the worst stats and worst kind of quarterback play that we've seen end up with the MVP. So I definitely think that Allen should have won it over. If the conversation is Lamar or Allen, it should have been Allen. If it's a conversation of who should have won MVP in the whole entire league, I think it's Christian McCaffrey. But definitely, if the Bills do anything this year, if they win their division, if they, win a playoff game, if they do anything, I know it's supposed to be a regular season award. If the Bills are anything like what they were last year, then it 100% should be to Josh Allen, because everybody has done nothing but hate on him this whole entire offseason because he lost Diggs, blah blah blah. If they're even remotely good, if they get over a 500 record, everybody should be voting for Allen because of how they've treated him this offseason alone. they'll just have to tuck their tail between their legs and be like, yeah, no, that guy's a baller. I don't expect it to happen, but that's what should happen. And so yeah, I think he's definitely better than Lamar, and I think he definitely should have won it over Lamar, but not the award overall. Next one is from Cheeseheads Weekly. At Cheeseheads, CHEESEHEADZ_W. At Cheeseheads Weekly. They say, will the Bills be able to do better next year even without Diggs? And I think the answer is unequivocally yes, absolutely. I think, like I've explained on the show a couple times, like I've written about for We Like Sports, I think their wide receiver room has gotten better, and I know that that's a hot take, and I know that people think that that's just a fan being a fan, and me putting the bias on. But again, I'll ask: would you rather have Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, Mac Hollins, MVS, or Davis, Shakir, Hardy, Sherfield, Isabella? I think that is obviously the team this year. You'd obviously rather have Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir. I think that's an upgrade over Davis. I think Mac Hollins is an upgrade over Hardy. I think Claypool, if he's on the team or not, is an upgrade over Sherfield. And I think MVS is an upgrade over Isabella. And then Coleman, who will be the wide receiver one, not this year, probably next year. I expect him to be a great wide receiver. I think that will pan out better than Diggs. I mean, let's not get it twisted on Diggs. He had the best season a wide receiver has ever had for the Bills. But I think getting rid of the kind of the circus that is Stephon Diggs, or was Stephon Diggs, I think that's a good thing. I think giving more opportunities for Kincaid, giving more opportunities for James Cook, I think those are all good things. So overall, the question of will they be better? Will the Bills be able to do better next year without Diggs? I think the answer is absolutely yes. Like I explained, I think it's going to be harder for the defenses to defend against us. You can't just lock in on Diggs, lock in on Davis, and try and contain Josh Allen. Now, this season, you have to try and contain Josh Allen, watch the run, because they're going to be a run-heavy team. You're going to have to watch Kincaid. You're going to have to watch Shakir. You're going to have to watch Curtis Samuel. You're going to have to watch Coleman. Like, there's going to be lots of players there that are ballers, and I think lots of people are making the mistake that the Bills are a 7 or an 8 or a 9 win team. I think they're very easily a double-digit win team. I think they're very easily an 11-12 win team. So the answer to that, to make a short story long, I think yes, they will be able to be better. Another one, surprisingly, comes from Drink More Water, Get More Sleep. He's actually a Finns fan who does follow us. He's a great follow. Kind of a troll, but he does it all in good fun. So it's at HugHeart_Michael, at HUGHART_Michael. Drink more water, get more sleep. So he says, who will emerge as the Bills wide receiver one? Now this one is, I talked about this one on Not Your Average podcast with T. It kind of depends on what you think, how you define what a wide receiver one is. Like if you're looking for that true outside, I think like the true outside big target fast wide receiver, I think Keon Coleman. Who's going to be the team? Who's going to be the guy getting the most targets on the team? I think it's Kincaid. But I think as far as, and not even for this season, and I think moving forward as he gets better, I think Keon Coleman definitely develops into that wide receiver 1 spot. Yeah, I think there's lots of options. Shakir, based on how he finished off last season under Joe Brady, getting a full off season with Joe Brady fully unleashing his playbook. Maybe it's Shakir, or maybe since they did get what do they call him there? An X Factor, a Swiss Army knife guy in Curtis Samuel. Maybe he's the wide receiver 1. But like I said, I think the majority of targets go to Kincaid, and I think as far as having a true X receiver who's your number 1 guy, who's going to be the guy that you're looking to in the red zone, you're looking to get first down chunk plays, I think that's Keon Coleman working deep middle of the field. I think that's Keon Coleman. So maybe not for this year, but I think definitely next season, I think Keon Coleman is our wide receiver 1. Next up is a great other podcast who gives us a follow. They support our show a lot. Unfortunately, they are Patriots fans. Yes, since Tom Brady left, there are still Patriots fans out there. But these guys are great. They cover all sports in the Boston area. They are the Boston Boys Sports at Hub Boys Sports, HUBBOYSSPORTS at Hub Boys Sports. They're awesome. They support everything that I do. So they're great. They say, I'm a Patriots fan and I've grown sick of all the Josh Allen hate. Is it crazy to think that he is severely underrated due to the insane amount of hate he gets from the whole country? And that one, I said, that's a GOAT response, because absolutely, 100%, we were just talking about this. He gets hate from everybody. So the only answer is that, yes, he's underrated. Like Colin Cowherd said today, of course he's underrated. There's people who don't even have him as a top 10 quarterback. And there's people taking Jordan Love. There's people taking Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert. These guys, there's people that will tell you that those guys are better than Josh Allen, and they are outside of their mind. Okay, there is no football game that Brock Purdy plays that is better than a football game that Josh Allen plays. Does not exist. Get that out of your head. Jalen Hurts sucks compared to Josh Allen. Okay, so of course, just by default, if you're not standing in, there's no middle ground to be had here. Okay, he's either a top 5. I think second. I think he's either top 3 quarterback in the league, or you're just a hater who just doesn't want him to do well because you don't like the Buffalo Bills. Okay, so yes, absolutely, he's getting an insane amount of hate. And then the only thing to do is, if you're hating on him just because you don't like him, the only thing is that he's criminally underrated. Okay. And then the last one we got. So thank you, Boston boys. We'll continue to support you guys, and yeah, appreciate the response. The last one is from Nate at NA5TYN4T3. He's a Bills Mafia fan, Bills Mafia account. So of course, go and support him. And his question is, younger defense, maybe an upgrade? And I kind of got into it with a guy today on X actually, who ended up deleting all of his posts, but he said that the Bills were going to be bad because they lost experience. And I said, sure, they lost experience, but does that make you worse? Like, isn't getting younger faster better? Isn't that you know what I mean? Obviously, we have concerns at pass rush and who's going to play beside Cole Bishop in safety. That's it. That's our two concerns on defense. Rasul Douglas, Benford, Teron Johnson. That is a force to be reckoned with. Defensive backfield. Okay, pass rush, yes, needs help. We have guys, but we do not have a guy. We have we have Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, AJ Epinesa, Greg Rousseau. Those aren't like top tier pass rushers. They'll combined, they'll be okay. So we definitely need help there. But I do think getting rid of older guys and guys who are often injured, for guys who are there playing, they're balling out every game. I think that's an upgrade. I think Benford is another guy who's very underrated in the league. I think his coverage stats and his coverage, all those charts that like I don't even really pay attention to, on EPAs and all those kinds of things, they all show Benford doing actually pretty well. If Kyer Elam can prove himself and show that he can play, I think that gives us a really good depth at quarterback, depth at that position. I think, and obviously our linebackers are. It's a top linebacking duo for sure. Terrell Bernard had better stats than Roquan Smith last year. That's just is what it is. And we get the best, one of the best, definitely in the top 5 linebackers back in the whole entire league. We get him back for the season in Milano. So I think getting younger, getting faster, playing a full season. We just got Rasul Douglas, so I think getting some time played together, getting some time spent together, I think that'll all be great for the Bills. So yeah, I would definitely say, and I mean, I don't know, I forget where we finished. I think we were a top 10 defense overall. Probably, I think potentially in the top 5. Some of that is like, how like when the Golden State Warriors won 73 games, they also had a good defense, but they were just because their offense was so good. So obviously they don't give up a lot of points because we have the ball all the time and they're not on the field as much kind of thing. That kind of lends itself to getting a good statistical defense. But I definitely think I definitely think our defense will be better. I would like to see them go get, that Justin Simmons, some other safety to kind of help and play and help with Bishop. But if we got to go Taylor Rapp, I think we go Taylor Rapp, and we have no issues doing that. We saw he can show up in big moments last season, so I don't think that that's a problem. Another season with DeMar Hamlin. He's a good depth piece. I think that's what he is. I think that's what he's meant to be. So we saw him. He filled in well. I think overall people are very concerned about losing Hyde, Poyer, and Trey White. But the amount of times that I forget the number, but the amount of times that those guys actually all played in the same game is very, very minimal, especially last year. I don't think it ever happened last year. And even 2 seasons ago, it's still, the number is very low of those 3 guys actually being on the field at the same time. So it's not going to be as big of a loss as people would like you to believe. So I think the defense will be better. And again, this season, We still expect all the great things to happen this season. But next season and 2 seasons from now and even 3 seasons from now, that's our real window. That is where it's really going to potentially happen for us. So this season, we still need success. We still want to see all the things. But if this season is just a building block for next season and the year after that, where it's okay, we are top dog in the league right now, I think we would consider that a success. Okay, so on that note, thank you everyone for listening. Thanks for everyone for watching. Like I said, go follow all the accounts we talked about today. Go follow Talkin' Football. Go follow at Hot Take City 904. Go follow Jones and for Sports. Go follow Cheeseheads Weekly. Says Me. Drink more water, get more sleep. Boston Boys Sports. Nate. Go follow all of these accounts. These are all great people. And like I said, thank you guys very much for following along. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and all that other annoying stuff that these content creators say nowadays. But yeah, we're out. Peace.